Friends. Happy day to you. I hope you guys are having a great day. Today we're talking about helping your kids cope with a move and adjust to the new area because, well, we are moving in 8 months. So I've been having that conversation with my kids, and I think it's so important because you can, as a parent, you get to frame your child's experience, which is a privilege. But let's just make sure we're framing it in a good frame, right? We're teaching them to look at it in a good way. But first things first, if you're new here, hey, welcome. I'm Keisha Ellingson, and I teach movers who have moved to a new area how to connect in their area by leading them through the process of developing community and creating connections, even if they are super shy. So I have like 5 different points I want to share today about walking your kids through a move and how helping them cope, how to help them cope. Okay, so the first thing is to talk it through with them. Like as soon as you know for sure that you're going to move, tell the kids. I really don't like the surprise. Like some people like to hide it until a month because they don't want big reactions. But I don't like to jump that kind of surprise on a kid. Because right, as adults, we don't want that jumped on us either, right? We want time to prepare and get ready for the situation. So the kids do too. And sometimes if they've never been through it before, they need a little bit of extra time to prepare for a move. And once you explain, what the move is, what it's going to look like, where you're going, how far away it is, if you're going to be able to visit or not on a regular basis, your area back home. And then your children are able to start processing and thinking about, okay, how is this going to look different? And it's in that processing and when you actually start packing and when things start to change that the kids sometimes will start having bigger emotions, and that's okay. And being available to talk them through it or even put words to what they're feeling, right? Like, wow, like you look like you're pretty stressed right now. You okay? You want to talk? Like naming their emotions, or you seem frustrated, is a great way to help them cope with their emotions, right? And then you can just have the opportunity to talk them through it and also model it. Like, oh my goodness, I'm feeling really stressed right now. I'm going to go take a break. Is modeling for them like how they should handle stress, right? And don't be surprised if after announcing the big move and when things start to change, if their behavior they start acting in ways that they normally don't, because they're starting to process it, and sometimes they don't know how to handle those emotions yet, or handle these big huge changes. And that's the privilege of being a parent, is that we get to walk them through and teach them good ways to handle their emotions and big feelings that come up and stepping into something new. The second thing is focus on the good when you're talking about talking to your kid about the move. Even if it's a move that you don't want to do, because sometimes we get in situations where we have to move, right? Like a bank foreclosure on a house, you want to stay there, but you have to move. Or sometimes, like in the army moves, you're moving every few years, and sometimes you don't want to, and that's okay. But as a parent, I feel like it's really important to keep the focus on the good. I'm not saying hide the bad. Okay, if you're crying and feeling sad, that's okay. Explain to your kids, you know what, I'm just feeling really sad right now. But make the conscious choice to keep focusing on the good and point out the good to your kids. Like things, for example, like we're gonna make so many more friends. I'm so excited to see you swimming on the beach if you're moving to a coastal area. Or I'm really excited to watch you make more friendships because you are amazing at making friendships. Isn't it gonna be great to experience a different climate? We haven't moved to a climate like this before. So just finding all these good things and then pointing them out to your kids. What you're doing is actually helping them train their minds on what they focus on, which is key because that's a skill they're taking with them for the rest of their life, right? And if you can help them to focus on the good, it's like an invaluable skill for life. The next point is to start putting your supports in place now for the move. So one move that I put in place last time we moved, about a year ago, is we got Kids Messenger for my older two kids. Okay. So Jada and Hugo each got Kids Messenger, that way that they could connect with their friends and be connected even though they are living now far away. And this move, as we're kind of talking over the move and stuff, I've been really talking with my oldest about getting those connections, getting the phone numbers, and she has her friends on multiple apps because now Snapchat is a thing where people hang out, and it's just really good for the kids to adjust to be able to have those connections in their old area, because then it doesn't feel like you're pulling them away without any connections. Like they still have some of feelings of their old life, if that makes sense. And then events, like planning events for them to look forward to, whether it be like going on vacation. We're going to go on vacation back home, right? And telling your kids, like, in next September, we're going for a week and we're going to be back in our old area. Or one that we've been talking about recently is my daughter's class here in New Lisbon, where we're at, is fundraising for their dance next year. Now, we will not be living here next year. And she told me, she's like, Mom, I just want to stay. Like, I want to stay because I want to go to this dance. And we're not going to stay for the entire school year next year. It's just not what works best with our family. But I did tell her, I'm like, you know what? It's a close enough drive. It's a 5.5 hour drive to where we're moving to. I was like, we will schedule so you can go to this dance. Like, we can take a drive and we'll drive down and you can go to this dance on Friday and then we can, hang out at a hotel and then we'll go back. So that's something that she's already looking forward to. And that's like 1 year in advance. But the more things that you can schedule for your kids to look forward to, it gives them a sense of stability. They know what's coming, but also a sense of excitement too. Because now she is going to be so much more excited about being able to go back, right? It's not such a sad thing. And I can pull your comments up on the screen. Hey, Lacey, I see your comment. Yeah. I love that I can pull people's comments up on the screen. So she says, love this, such a great idea. Yeah. It's a really great way for them to connect with their friends. And yeah, just, I love it. Another thing for younger kids, especially, is I like to get the phone numbers, because sometimes if it's younger elementary age kids, I feel like some of them, probably most of them, don't have phones yet. And most of them are not good at getting phone numbers, or they don't know their phone number. So having phone numbers for the kids and the parents is really good, because then they can call a friend, even if it's hey, how are you? Like an awkward little kid conversation, it's still something, right? And then if you have the parents' numbers, then you can connect and, eventually get them on Kids Messenger or other things like that, where they can connect or do a FaceTime, things like that. The fourth thing I have for you is, this is kind of a hard one, but it's such a good skill. Okay. Teach them how to say goodbye and how to transition. And talking with your kids and teaching them that, you know what, it's okay for our life to look different. It's okay for life to look different than we planned. It's also okay for us as a family to choose something different, even though we haven't experienced it yet, to go out on faith and choose it. Teaching your kids this skill is so important. Like I see this in adults where they get stuck in a rut and they're doing the same thing over and over and over again. They're not happy, but they're not doing anything different. If we can teach our kids that it's okay to transition, that it's actually a good thing to try new situations, whether it be a new community or like a new school, like then that's another skill that they'll develop and use for their entire life. And speaking those words over them in this situation, like you can thrive anywhere you go, in any situation. If we try something new, you are still able to thrive there. You're still able to thrive at your new school. You're able to make more friends. And then the last one is grace. Give them grace, because sometimes as adults, we have a hard time processing all the things that come up with a move, or sometimes we don't expect all of the different things that happen. It could be a domino effect, and like you're feeling good, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I'm totally overwhelmed. Same thing with kids. So I like to give them extra grace when we are talking about a move and when we are in the transition and after a move, just that time period. And what that looks like for our family is extra hugs. If they're around me, I just, give them a hug. If they're looking down, just give them a quick hug or a pat on the shoulder, like physical reassurance that, hey, I'm still here. We're still good. We're doing this together. I like to take some extra time to talk with them. And it can be in the form of like going on walks or a bike ride or just sitting next to them as they're eating supper. And there are some times when I will bring up the topic, but other times where we can just talk about whatever they want to talk about. And I feel like it's important for us to bring up those topics, but it's also important for us as parents to just show up and show our support, just as, being together. And then I also do, I said talks. Yeah. So time, talks, and hugs. And a fun thing that I like to do once we're into the new area is plan like 1 or 2 activities out in advance for our time together. So for Hugo and I, we went to a, what is it called? And it's like where you drive around the track. It's like a racetrack, but for like little cars, go-karts. We went to the go-karts, but our time in the car and then our time there, like that was really good time for him to process and to ask me questions, or, I don't know. I feel like all these tips, if you take whatever ones fit your family, it will help you in your transition. So if you are loving this content, feel free to go to the Homesick to Happy Movers group. There's a link in the description of this video because I have a guide section that speaks all about helping kids adjust to the move and helping them thrive in their new area and with the change, because it is so important. So check it out if you want to, and if not, no bother to me. It's fine, because I understand not everybody's moving and not everybody's moving with kids also. So I hope you guys have a fabulous day, and I look forward to talking with you soon. We'll see you later.